Respected Professor Bajaj, Professor Mohan, fellow speakers, and my dear friends. Today's topic of my presentation is quality of life in patients of obstructive sleep apnea. First of all, the definition of quality of life. WHO defines quality of life as individuals' perception of their position in life in the context of the culture and value system in which they live and in relation to their goals, expectations, standards, and concern. Two things are important here. Individual perception. There is no test, there is no objective test to measure quality of life. And it is measured in relation to the goals, expectation, and standards of the person. Two people, they might be having equal assets, same kind of relationship, same physical health, but they might have different quality of life because their perceptions, their expectations from life are different. Quality of life is a broad concept. There are multiple factors which affect it, like physical health, psychological state, level of independence, social relationship. Physical health is just one of them. Now, what's the difference between quality of life and health-related quality of life? See, the health is one of the parameters which affect quality of life. All determinants of quality of life are not health-related. Like poverty. Poverty is not going to affect the health. So only that domain which is affected by health is included in health-related quality of life. And why do we need to measure health-related quality of life? See, for this we have to go back into 1980s because the concept of quality of life is of 80s. In that era, there was a shift of focus towards chronic disease. The cancer posed as a unique challenge, and there was stress on patient's point of view. In Western world, in 70s and 80s, there was a shift of healthcare resources from acute infectious disorders to chronic disease prevention. And the treatment of chronic disease, it is associated with long-term treatment with its own side effects. So there was need to study the overall impact of disease and treatment on life, not just the effect of disease. And it was noted that emotional suffering produced by cancer is as good as the disease itself, the physical suffering part. So it was soon recognized that at times treatment of cancer is as troubling as disease itself. So just prolongation of life by few months is not sufficient, but quality of life of the patient must improve. The patient's point of view. Patient doesn't come to the doctor for normalization of the biochemical parameters. He wants improvement in quality of life. Then why do we need to measure quality of life in OSA? Apnea-hypopnea index, which is the index of severity in OSA. It failed to adequately measure the rather broader impact of disorder in human life because it doesn't take into account the sleep fragmentation and the other things which happen in OSA. And being tied to a machine 8 to 10 hours out of total 24 hours is also something unique and has its own problems. Surgery and other therapeutic modalities are also associated with significant consequences important for the patient. And it helps in early detection of comorbid illness. Burden of OSA in India, the awareness is low, number of sleep labs is less, but still prevalence is sufficiently high. I came across only 4 studies of prevalence, and the prevalence was 3.5 to 15.5% in those studies. Quality of life is how do we measure quality of life in OSA? Quality of life is a subjective perception. It is measured with the help of questionnaires. These questionnaires, they have separate domains, multiple domains, like physical health, mental health, and social health domains. These are present in almost all the questionnaires. And the answers are usually in the form of Likert scale. It is answers in form of graded response, and these responses, they are numbered. Like if patient is having very large problem, the questions are like in this format. How much of a problem have you had from not being involved in the family activities? A very large problem, large, moderate to large, moderate, small to moderate, and each is given some number according to the severity. All scores are counted to get the domain score and the total quality of life score. There are 2 types of questionnaires. Ones are generic questionnaires and second are OSA specific questionnaires. The generic questionnaires, they can be used in any disease or condition to measure the quality of life. But the OSA specific questionnaires are ones which can be used in OSA only. I am skipping this detail because I have been given 5 minutes only. Thank you. Which ones are better? It depends on the research question. If you are going to compare between the 2 things, 2 different diseases, then only generic questionnaires can be used. But the recent studies, they are more inclined towards use of disease-specific questionnaires. And quality of life in OSA patient. The first study of quality of life in OSA was published in 1993. The study observed that there was significant quality of life impairment in OSA patient. And interestingly, in some severe OSA patients, there was little quality of life impairment. And in late 90s and early 2000, there was multiple studies exploring the relationship of quality of life and OSA. These early studies, they use generic questionnaires to measure quality of life, not the disease-specific ones. And most studies, they found there was significant impairment of quality of life in OSA patients. In 1998, the Flemings and Raymer, they developed Calgary Sleep Apnea Quality of Life Index, which is a OSA-specific questionnaire. After this index, there was trend towards use of disease-specific questionnaires in the OSA, quality of life studies. And now, what's the association of quality of life with OSA severity? Most studies, they have not found any association with quality of life impairment and OSA severity. There is no clear evidence that severe OSA patients, they have more severe impairment of quality of life also, as compared to mild and moderate patients. This study was conducted by us in Government Medical College and Hospital Chandigarh, in which we found that all the domains of Calgary-Sarkle scale showed significant impairment in quality of life in OSA patients. And impairment was not proportional to the severity of disease. What is the effect of CPAP of quality of life? CPAP is the standard treatment for CPAP, for OSA. But the house is divided on this question. A Cochrane review in 2006 observed that CPAP improves quality of life measures in OSA patient, but it took into account many primary and secondary endpoints. A meta-analysis in 2008, which studied the quality of life only, it concluded that CPAP did not improve general quality of life scores, but did improve scores in some domains. Even if quality of life improves in patient, but not all patients improve, in a substantial proportion of patients, neurobehavioral responses will not normalize despite seemingly adequate CPAP use. It is thus crucial to adequately assess patient after CPAP therapy and seek alternate etiologies and treatment for any residual abnormality. This is very interesting study. It was presented in ATS in 2011. It was a large multicentric study. They took patients who were diagnosed cases of OSA, but the apnea-hypopnea index was between 5 to 15. They were not recommended CPAP on the basis of symptoms. So the patients were randomized into two arms. Half patients were given 6-month CPAP trial and other patients were not given any treatment. And the quality of life scores was also significantly higher in CPAP group compared to the standard care patients. And the authors, they wrote, it appears clinical assessment of patient with OSA does not reliably identify all patients likely to benefit from treatment with CPAP. In other words, author suggested impairment of quality of life may be an indication for starting treatment. The take-home message from this presentation is it's important to measure quality of life in your OSA patients. Patient doesn't expect us to decrease their apnea-hypopnea index, but they expect us to improve their quality of life. Apnea-hypopnea index improvement with CPAP is not adequate. Post-CPAP quality of life should be measured. In many patients, neurobehavioral conditions and quality of life do not improve after CPAP. Alternate etiologies must be looked for in such patients. And recent research suggests that impaired quality of life may be an indication for starting treatment in OSA patients. Thank you.